It's the beginning of March, so it's the perfect time to talk about what I loved in February. In February, I had 5 favorite things. My first favorite for February is fresh flowers. So when I think about my perfect home situation, I think about windows open on a breezy day with like the white curtains blowing and a candle lit and some music playing and sunshine coming through and fresh flowers on a clean, uncluttered surface. Obviously, this doesn't happen every day, and when it's dreary and snowy or rainy and cold, fresh flowers help me to feel a little bit of sunshine. I used to think that they were a big waste of money and I just didn't get it. But these days I am keeping a bouquet around almost all the time and pick one up every couple weeks or so during a grocery trip. Usually I can make them last a couple weeks. Sometimes they don't always look the freshest if they're a couple weeks old, but like as you can see behind me, these ones are still going strong. They're like 2 or 3 weeks old now. The tops still look nice. So fresh flowers just really help brighten up the space, I think. My second favorite thing for February is dinner parties at my house. So I haven't had many dinner parties, and you can call them whatever you want. You don't have to call them dinner parties. You can just say guests for dinner, shared meals. But I really enjoy planning the menu, making the house cozy, picking out some music, lighting some candles, and just enjoying the company around the table and enjoying the food. Another aspect that I really enjoy is just sharing delicious plant-based food with other people who don't typically eat that way. It's nice to try new things when I go to other people's houses. I think it's also nice to provide new experiences to those who are joining me for dinner. I think it's important for people to see that vegans don't miss out on anything. So I recently had some girlfriends over for dinner, and I made some bruschetta and roasted Brussels sprouts for appetizers, and I made spinach and basil pesto pasta for the entree with roasted sweet potatoes, fresh cherry tomatoes, and sauteed tofurkey sausage. That was really delicious. With a loaf of bread, nice crusty loaf of bread. And then for dessert, we had Turkish figs and dates and some vegan pastries from Whole Foods. And there was plenty of wine and beer and coffee and tea and water. There was music coming from the record player, and we had candles lit, and we played a game, and it was just really, really nice. So I think it's great to enjoy time with your friends at home too. Everybody doesn't have to spend money, and I think it's more comfortable. And of course I like hosting because I like to control the food. But of course you can always ask guests to bring a dish and just respectfully let them know what you're avoiding, and everybody can pitch in. My third favorite thing for February is buying dried beans from the bulk section and soaking them and cooking them. My boyfriend and I eat a lot of beans, and we used to just buy cans and cans and cans every week, and that created a lot of waste, and you never know like what you're getting in the cans. If you're getting any leached BPA in your beans, that's gross. So we've been buying beans from the bulk section, and it's cheaper, and it requires a little bit more planning because you do have to soak the beans for, I soak them overnight, so like 8 hours, depending on the size of the bean. But it's really easy to just get into a routine of soaking them and then cooking them and then saving them in the refrigerator for the week. So we usually do that on Saturday night. We'll soak the beans, or Sunday during the day, and cook the beans Sunday night and just store them in the fridge. With the beans, we make tacos a lot. Sometimes we'll make chili or soup, but usually it's tacos. Similarly, my number 4 favorite for February is making my own nut milk and nut butter. Again, it's great because you know exactly what's in your product, and A lot of commercial milks, nut milks and nut butters have weird ingredients that I just would like to avoid. And I know that there are places in the world that have like almond milk that's just almonds and water, and that's awesome, but I don't have that here in Philadelphia. I haven't been able to find that kind of product anywhere. So it's best to buy from the bulk bin, I think, because it's the cheapest, you avoid the packaging. But as you'll see in my cashew milk and cashew butter videos, which I will link here, on this particular day when I went food shopping, there were no raw cashews in the bulk section, so I did buy a bag of cashews, raw cashews. And again, once you get the hang of how to make these things, it shouldn't take long at all, unless you don't use enough nuts to make your nut butter, then it takes all afternoon. But anyway, I also like making my own because then I can store them in whatever container I like. I like to have them in like nice jars. And you can find the recipes on my blog or watch the videos, or both. Do both. And my fifth favorite for February, if you couldn't have guessed it, is Colleen-Patrick and her podcast, Food for Thought. If you've seen my last two videos, I talk about Colleen and her effective communication strategies and her 10 stages we go through when we stop eating animals. And this has been important for me because as a vegan in society, I meet a lot of people who have a lot of questions about it, and some of them who push back, and it's important for me to understand my values and also be able to respectfully and unapologetically communicate with people who I come in contact with. And she really just has a podcast episode for like every vegan related issue you could think about, from what to feed your pets, how to help injured wildlife, animals in film, just a whole slew of topics. And she's got tons of them since she's been doing this podcast for 10 years now. So I'll link below Colleen's video that I found that introduced me to her, and I'll link my past two videos below as well. So let me know what you think about these favorites, if you have any favorites in common, if you have anything you'd like to suggest to me, or just let me know like what you've been enjoying in February. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe.